Hi, and welcome to Issaquah Buzz, where we talk about all things business in Issaquah. My name's Autumn Monahan, and I work with the city's communications team. I'm here with Jen Davis-Hayes, our economic development manager, and one of my favorite people to gossip Issaquah business with. So welcome, Jen. And look, we have fancy microphones. We're a legit podcast now.
We are legit. Love it.
All right, so today we're going to chat about maybe some of the lesser known businesses in Issaquah. So, most of us know that Costco has its international headquarters here, but what are some other places that we may drive by or walk by or see every day where we just don't know what's going on behind the doors? So let's learn about some cool businesses today. So to start off, let's go with SanMar. This is a pretty large building that's above Home Depot in North Issaquah. I'm sure a lot of us have seen the large logo and sign for their building, but what do they do?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know before I came to Issaquah, but they are one of the largest wholesale apparel manufacturers in the United States. Can you believe it?
Wow.
So you've probably worn one of their products, but it wasn't labeled SanMar. It might have been labeled Port Authority or another major brand. So they print marathon and other run shirts, corporate wear. I probably have a ton of my son's Little League uniforms that were printed by them. So, and on and on. They are just an amazing company that does so much you don't know about here in Issaquah. Yeah. So they were actually started in 1971, and they just won the Puget Sound Business Journal's Best Family-Owned Business in 2022, thanks to the continued family leadership of Jordan Lott. I learned a lot about them during that process as well, is that they have a mission to tell the truth and be nice, and a tagline, together for good. I think it says a lot about the company. So they really have focused on sustainability. They refuse to work with factories that burn coal for energy. And in Honduras, they built the factory there with solar panels. At the time, it was the largest solar installation in Latin America.
Wow.
So lots of really cool things that they are doing throughout their company. But I also love that they are involved in our community. We have a member from SanMar on the Economic Vitality Commission. I just saw one of their employees at a school district advisory panel yesterday. And so they really are trying to do some really innovative things in Issaquah and throughout the world.
That's great. I remember, as the pandemic first started too, they got a lot of press and that they pivoted somewhat away from apparel, or at least added on, and also we're producing a whole lot of face masks at the beginning when it was very scarce to get them. So I remember that was also, they're definitely a company that is flexible and very innovative to what their customers need. And I've also heard too that they have been at the forefront of remote working, as you and I sit here in our homes and work, many, many years before the pandemic. So that's also really cool. It's great to know that they are based here in Issaquah.
Yep. Yeah. It's one of the best kept secrets in Issaquah.
All right. So next up is Siemens. So an international company, a name that we've probably all heard. So what's their tie or focus here in Issaquah?
Yeah. So again, another one of those best kept secrets. We may not be driving by that all the time, but they are back behind where the FedEx and other buildings are, the school district admin building. Okay. But they are, that building is the global headquarters for their ultrasound business. So if you had an ultrasound at Issaquah Swedish or other hospitals in the area, that machine was manufactured here in Issaquah, right next to the state park.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
So they have other divisions that focus on IT infrastructure and energy efficiency. I mean, amazing things that they do there that we don't even think about, but they have an impact on our lives.
Yeah, that's great. Well, so this is kind of related, and I only really learned this as part of this project, but I've often driven by, it's called Marketing Masters. And, I always thought it was a marketing firm. I mean, even at one point, my husband works in marketing, and I'm like, oh, why have we not heard about Marketing Masters? And it's based in Issaquah, and it's near Hilton Garden Inn. And so I drive by it too whenever I've gone to events and been like, what is that? So finally Googled it, and very interesting. They have nothing to do with marketing, and also very much focused on a very specific thing that's manufactured, right? That we probably all use at some point in our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fastener manufacturer. I mean, that's something that you really think about every day. So again, similar to Siemens, they're making things that we probably use every day and have an
Yeah.
impact on our lives, but we don't think about it. So
Yeah.
they make a lot of the clips and fasteners for airplane seatbelts, for boats and RVs, electronic devices. And yeah, it's just a really weird thing. And I'm not sure where the marketing master's name came up, but maybe one of our listeners can fill us in on that origin. But again, one of those buildings you drive by and you have no clue what's going to go on there. So next time you take a flight, think about Issaquah.
Yeah. All right. So turning to a business I do know about, but always am challenged in pronouncing. So Booniehead, I believe is how it's pronounced. To start out, do you know how the name Booniehead came to be before we talk about what they do?
Yeah. So I know you're not the only one who hesitates when you say that, trying to say that name, because I'm like, Booniehead. So it comes from a nickname that the owner, Sari Davidson, called her kids when they were little. So isn't that cute?
Oh, that is cute. All right. So here's what I know about Booniehead, but fill me in on everything else and kind of the history of why they're based here in Issaquah. But I know that they create a lot of really innovative and cool products for babies. And a couple that I had in my family were the pacifier clip, so that it wouldn't fall, to the ground all the time and pick it back up. So there would be a clip for that. I believe it's also for some drinkware, I think too. But the one piece that was essential in our household was this mat that you could put under the high chair, and that anytime there was food that was spilled, it was protecting, in our dining room, the carpet. So we had that mat for years, and it was just a staple in our household. I'm very thankful we no longer do. But so there's been some really innovative products that I've used, every day, and my family's used, and they're based right here in Issaquah. That was a surprise to me. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I've seen them all over, going to the store sometimes, and I'm like, wait, that's from Issaquah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. They were founded in 2007. They used to be located in Gilman Village for a while, and they outgrew their space. They purchased a building in downtown Issaquah. So you might have seen they have a small showroom there that shows off some of their products, but that's where their headquarters office is. And so, overall, they make infant and toddler feeding and soothing accessories, selling over 11 million products a year. So lots of families like you are like, thank you for this mat. Thank you for this grip. Sari's first product that she created was the sippy grip. So for the sippy cups that were being constantly thrown on the floor, it's a tether that stops it to getting on the dirty floor. Because we all know, if you have had a baby, that's fun. That's a game, right? But it's not so fun after a while. So I think, she really took things that were in our homes and challenges, right, that could be a little frustrating, and kind of made a business out of it. So, she was named the Innovator of the Year by the Puget Sound Business Journal in 2020. Wow. Fortune's Most Powerful Women Entrepreneurs. I love this one. Babbel's Top 50 Mompreneurs. So, moms that are doing business and around that. 425 Magazine's Powerhouse Entrepreneur, all that kind of stuff. And they too pivoted early in the pandemic, making upcycled fabric masks from their cotton teether bibs, some of the leftovers from that. So I think, again, a true entrepreneur is not just kind of, this is my product, I'm doing this, but really responding to the environment. And so she, again, her innovation continues to grow.
And my carpets are thankful for it. So that showroom's located along Front Street, right?
Yes,
in Old Town now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And is that mostly for companies who are looking to provide or to sell her product? Okay.
Yeah, she does have a small retail showroom in there that you can go in. They're not always open, but yes, it is a presence on Front Street, which we're really excited about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. All right. So you can see my mind's kind of going toward retail now. So let's talk about places we can shop in. So one that I drive by every day, I've never been inside, Creekside Angling. So I've seen it again from the freeway, but in learning a bit more about it, it's pretty special that it's here in Issaquah.
It is. So it actually used to be located over on Gilman by the QFC in that shopping center.
Oh, yeah.
And when it moved to that location where you have great visibility on I-90. I'm sure it's now getting even more customers from that because it's the East Side's only fly fishing store. Right. So you think about all the people who are driving east to go fishing and where are they going to stop? They're going to stop here. So, I've never fly fished. Have you?
No.
Well, they have classes for beginners or to learn how to tie the flies. Because I know that's a talent too and a skill. So, but yeah, you should check out their website because they also have fishing report for local conditions and how the current river flows, because all those things are important to fly fishing. I understand. But yeah, they are really all about, fly fishing and fishing. And I think that location is just a great one for them to connect more to regional consumers.
Yeah. And it aligns so much with so many Issaquah businesses and customers here who love the great outdoors. And like you said, are maybe driving east, right, to go explore and be out in wilderness. So that aligns really well with just so much of what Issaquah is about. So
for sure,
really good fit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is another tongue twister for me. What's a Palong Games?
Why are you having a problem with that? Why are you having a problem with that? So yeah, this one I'm just discovering. So it stands for, again, for these things that stand for things. Ready?
Yeah.
With all this talent sitting around, let's put out a game.
All right. So it's not an actual word. This is the very complicated acronym.
Yes.
Right.
And so again, very innovative. So they are an award-winning board game company here in Issaquah, right? So Chris Gould, who he and I have been trying to connect for the past few months, and I know we'll connect soon. He started in 2006, and their games are like sold and played nationwide and actually throughout the world. One of the reasons we haven't been able to connect is been at board game conferences, which I did not know existed.
Very fun.
So Jet Set was one of their most popular games, and they most recently put out Echidna, I'm probably not pronouncing that right, Shuffle, which won several awards. So again, a business that you're driving down Gilman, it's not a retail store, but it's an office that is putting out these amazing games. So then, those days that maybe you don't want to get out in the pouring rain or you want to have an at-home day with your family, support an Issaquah business and check out some of their games.
That's great. So you and I brainstormed a list of kind of these maybe not so known businesses that are in town, and REI was on our list. And maybe now it's not so unknown that REI is here because there's signs up. And like you said, really high visibility from I-90, awesome location. But they moved pretty recently into an office space here in Issaquah, which again, so aligns with so much of what we're passionate about here in Issaquah with the great outdoors and outdoor recreation. And also, I know that we've been in several meetings together with REI and have learned a lot about how they're changing their kind of workplace culture and having a lot more hybrid environments where folks may come in once or twice or stop by for meetings, and then kind of working through what that space looks like. And so it's a smaller footprint, but it's an area where a lot of their employees can come. So have you actually toured the space? I haven't been there. I've just heard a lot about it and seen photos.
It is. Yeah, it's really beautiful. You walk in and it just feels like you're comfortable there. So it's, it's a beautiful building from the outside. Yeah. And it's a great location, right? It's close to trails, state park. You can, walk down to get a beer at Frontier Formula Brewery, but the interior space is really great for their employees. So they have, like you mentioned, like lots of different types of work areas. So open space, areas to collaborate. So the comfortable couch, coffee table, but they also have like conference, typical conference rooms, and cubes without cubes, desk space. So depending on what you need, because again, we are all figuring out, this is really, they're really testing what makes sense, right? There are times when you need that quiet space. There are times that you need to to bump into people and go aha moments. But yeah, they're really trying to produce that and testing it. And so we're really excited to kind of, as we look at returning to work as well, and returning to the office more, what things do work for our employees now. So they have also a great cafe and coffee spot there. So all the things kind of in there just feel right. And one of the things I was surprised at, they had this really beautiful big conference table that is made of reclaimed wood. And then the wood around it that are benches was actually reclaimed from the 520 bridge when it was reconstructed. So something is totally true to their values. So they're looking at taking what's, making that connection to the outdoors through many different ways, but also not wasting that opportunity to reconnect. So
that's so cool. I hope I can tour it someday. I'm so thrilled REI is here. And again, it aligns so much with what Issaquah is about. So it's perfect. All right. So I've learned about several new businesses as we did our research. Here's a few more I did not know about. Northwest Playground Equipment. Mm-hmm. What? I had to Google it and I looked for the location and kind of zoomed in on Google. So it's south of Issaquah Valley Elementary. It's on Dogwood. I'm going to have to really keep my eye out next time I drive by. Yeah. But they build playground equipment?
Yeah. They design it from soup to nuts. So talking about REI and their focus on community, Northwest Playground Equipment also talks about, really, it's about building community through play, right? So you'll notice on their website, they talk about, even supporting groups that are trying to find funding to build a playground structure, because they really want to help, the neighborhoods that come together, the schools that need, some extra oomph in their playground equipment, kind of bring it all together. So again, another locally family-owned company for 25 years. So they work with schools and organizations. So you've probably had your kids play on them, or maybe you might have. And you can tell they really care about their work and their products. And what a fun industry to be in, right? To come together and be like, all right, let's build this playground, and just the excitement you would see in kids' faces when it all kind of gets unveiled. So beautiful playground equipment that I saw on their website. And I always say to our park planner, gosh, your job is the coolest, in that you get to plan and then actually produce something and see the enjoyment from our community, and kids playing in playgrounds or in people enjoying our parks. So rewarding. Yep. So that's really cool that they're here in town. Another one that I'm going to immediately start buying some holiday gifts from. Just also looked at their website today and started adding to cart. Like immediately, it's gorgeous stuff. So it's a place called Northwest Makes. And again, I wanted to buy everything. And so I think it'll be my number one for holiday shopping. Good. Have you met Tiffany, the owner, or know much about her story? Well, I am meeting her next week to go see her studio myself. Cool. So maybe you can join me if you have some time. So I'm really excited because one of the things Northwest Makes is in our creative district, and we talked about in a previous podcast. And one of the things that people have talked about is we need a maker space, and this is one of those maker spaces, right? So Tiffany is a local textile artist, so she makes products with their screen prints, and she kind of sews everything in her Issaquah studio. She has a fabric that's sourced from a wholesaler in the UK and really cares about sustainability as she creates her products. But she also offers workshops, right? So you want to learn how to use a sewing machine or screen printing or something else. So she kind of is, in my mind, kind of the best of both worlds of a creative industry type business, where she's using her skills and talents to make things and wants, sell things. And she wants to expand into more of a retail, ground floor retail space I've been talking to her about, but also bringing people in to kind of find their hidden talents, right? Yeah. And best of all, her tagline is proudly produced in Issaquah, Washington. So that kind of tells about everything we've kind of talked about today, right?
No, I'm thrilled. I want to support her and hope to see that she grows in her business. Again, just amazing stuff. So I'm excited to purchase some. So speaking of things produced in Issaquah, we'd be remiss if we don't also talk about a few others like Bones, which we know are XXX root beer. So a lot of other amazing entrepreneurs that literally feed us.
Yeah.
And also exude very much innovation that we've talked about. That's kind of the thread among all that we've talked about today in Issaquah. So, all right, after all this, I'm ready to start holiday shopping. And I think this is a good time for us to call out Issaquah Loyal. So this is our annual campaign, really to encourage our community to shop local, support all of these amazing and sometimes unknown treasures in town.
Yeah. So Autumn, do you have your Issaquah Loyal cling on display?
You know I do. I was thrilled. I went and got my hair cut recently, and my hairstylist had one on her mirror, and I was like, I took a picture of it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but yeah. I love seeing Issaquah Loyal stickers around town.
Yes, so this is great. So if our listeners didn't pick up one at the city booth at Salmon Days, they can go by our City Hall permit counter between 9 and 4, or the Chamber's offices on Gilman to show their love for the business. So these look great on car windows, on your storefront, on mirrors. And don't worry, they're cling, so they can easily be removed.
Awesome. Yes, show your Issaquah pride and remind our community to support each other. That's awesome. Yeah. All right, so we now have a really special feature on another Issaquah business that's becoming a bit more well-known. You may have seen some of like their A-frames around town offering free hot chocolate or free frozen bananas covered in chocolate. I have not indulged in either yet, but I'm excited to. But this business is getting a lot of buzz, a lot of media attention, and I think it's becoming very well known and has definitely set roots here in Issaquah, called Fortunato Chocolate. And they sell some of the rarest chocolate I've heard in the world. Have a really cool story. So check out a bit more of their history now on this video.
The reason we got into the chocolate business in the first place is because my dad and my brother, by accident, discovered a thought to be extinct variety of cocoa bean growing in the northern Amazon jungle, and it was considered to be one of the finest flavored cocoa beans in the world. For 13 years, we only sold big 1.1 pound blocks to these restaurants and pastry chefs. When the pandemic hit and restaurants were getting shut down, we stopped getting purchase orders. But we have contracts with like 500 cacao farm families who depend on us for their livelihood. In sort of a last act of desperation, we put up an e-commerce website in 2020. And so based on the strength of that, in November 2021, we decided to open up our first retail shop here in Issaquah. My brother moved out to the jungle in Peru. We built a processing facility, which we still own and operate to this day, in the Peruvian jungle, where we ferment and dry cocoa beans. Because post-harvest processing is a big part of what makes chocolate taste good. And if it's not done correctly, then you can't have a fine flavored chocolate. About 8 months ago, we opened up a shop in a kitchen over here by Top Pot Donuts, and we started making confections. It was the first time we ever made products with this really world-class chocolate. And it went so well that we just recently opened up a second shop here next to REI in the Issaquah Commons. We only buy this one kind of cocoa bean. So we don't have like an unlimited supply of chocolate. There's a strict upper limit on how far we could go. So we'll never be able to be a huge, See's Candies type company. I mean, we're always going to basically be a small local company because we're dedicated to supporting this community in this one part of Peru and using this one type of cocoa bean. Working with the city of Issaquah was awesome. They took a look at our plans and they stamped it right away. So it let us open up super fast. One way or another, we've been doing business in Issaquah for like the last 12 years. And doing business is always super easy, but also, I don't know how it happened, but this is a prosperous little place. The people are friendly. It's just, on the whole, a very good place to be and a good place to do business. I think the city of Issaquah does a great job. This team and the staff who works here is extremely friendly and welcoming. And it's a really fun time. Everything is delicious, and I can promise you that you enjoy yourself if you come in here and check us out.
All right, and so that's a wrap for this edition of Issaquah Buzz. Thanks everybody for joining us. Join us next time to hear more about other business news in town, and let us know if you have a favorite business or here's some kind of business rumor that we can help track down and answer or clarify. You can contact us at ed@issaquahwa.gov. Thanks so much.
Bye.